Hey, my Oak Island fishing friends. Went out fishing this morning with the wife. Didn't catch anything. Sometimes the bait gets the fish. Sometimes the fish get the bait. Actually, the fish weren't even taking the bait. It was like they weren't even interested. So my wife was sitting there and she's like, "I'm bored. Got a rake?" I was like, "A rake? Yeah. What for?" She walked away into the marsh. Came back 5 minutes later with 2,000 of these. Clamming. Oak Island. Let's go.
Hey y'all, come on out here, man. We're about to get this thing started. Y'all know how we do it out here, right? Where we going, man? Where we going?
All right, the first thing you got to know about clams is where to find them. You can go down to the point, and if you just go to the marshy area, you find some mud and some clam shells laying around, you're going to find some clams in the mud. All you got to do is get a rake. This is just like one you'd get at a hardware store for gardening, and you just scrape it along the mud. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. If you don't like to get muddy, if you don't like to get messy, this probably isn't the sport for you. Go back to surf fishing. But if you don't mind getting a little dirty, you can get a lot of clams. So you're just scraping through the dirt, and all of a sudden you hit something that feels a little different than the other shells that are in the muck, and that's going to be a clam. There you go. Now, my wife is a beast when it comes to finding clams. She can out-clam anybody. She'll pull out 4 or 5 before you've even got one. All right. Now, the next thing you need to know about clamming is there is a size limit. If you hold it between your finger and the pinky, it's got to be an inch thick. So like this little guy, he's going back. So we'll pull them all out and we'll just throw back the other ones. If you want to find them, all you got to do is find a little hole where there's some water sitting in it. And if you start digging in that hole, there's going to be some shells. But you start raking in that. I didn't have the rake, we only had one. But you just start digging in it, you're going to pull them out. They're going to be in there. And usually if you find one, there'll be another one next to each other. We think that like they invite each other over on Saturdays to watch the games, so there'll usually be more than one in there. Now there is amount you can get out. It's 100 per person or 200 per vessel, but that's a lot of clams. So even at the rate my wife finds them, we don't ever keep 100 of them. Yeah, this one's too little probably. He's going to go back. Keep the big ones, not the little ones. Get back in the mud. All right, so we got ourselves a nice little bucket, took them home, rinsed them off, and the wife's going to make clam casinos. So the first thing we got to do is we got to shuck them. Now I've got a shucker, but I actually find just a regular steak knife works a little bit better. You can see it kind of gets in there quicker, and then I can use that same thing and I can just scrape it out. I'm collecting all the juice, I'm collecting the clams so my wife can make clam casino. So, but you know what else? Once in a while, you're shucking them and you're just like, I need to just have one on the half shell. Throw a little cocktail sauce on it. Yum! They taste so good when they're fresh, so much better than store-bought clams. You have no idea. But the shucking thing is kind of hard. One trick you can do, put them in the freezer and let them sit in the pot in the freezer for a little while. And as they get cold, they open up a little bit. It gets a little easier. You can also steam them a little bit in a frying pan, but I don't like to do that because I kind of feel like it starts to cook. But if you steam in a frying pan, they'll open up real quick too. And if you're just going to make clams casino or something like this, it's fine. But on the half shell, do the freezer trick. All right, I stuck through all those. We're going to make some clams casino. First thing I do is chop some veggies. Kim's got some onions going here. She's got some pepper. She's got some celery. That all gets fried up in a pan. She also takes the clams and she chops them up too. Everything gets minced. You cook some bacon, and of course, you got to chop that up too. Now, don't throw out all the shells because you're going to need some of the shells to put the clam casino into. So we just put them out on a tray. We grab some breadcrumbs. We put our little mixture all together there. And then we're just going to take that mixture and we're going to stuff them into our shells. After that, all you got to do is cook these bad boys. And they're ready to go. But we're going to actually freeze them and have them for Thanksgiving. So, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. Hey, get out there and go fishing now.
Now, here we go.